Turn up the AC hot takes. You know what it is? It's your boy Fedos Jr. Vargas Dynasty going up. Don't act like you don't know. We're the only three brothers that really running shit in the boxing game.
Hell yeah.
Terence Crawford, you and Canelo are some of the best boxers in the world and in this generation. If you win against Canelo, where would you rank yourself among the list of greatest of all time?
When I win, I'm gonna be at the top. Facts. When I win.
For Canelo, obviously you fought some of the all-time greats. Where would this victory stack up against some of the other ones that you've earned? And where would Terence Crawford fall within your resume? How do you feel?
Oh, I feel great. You know, it's going to be one of my best victories in my career, obviously. He's a great fighter. He's a legend. But, you know, it's going to be good for my books.
Welcome to another installment of Turn Up the AC Hot Takes with Reason on a solo edition. Now, as you've seen in the clips before this, we talking about Canelo versus Crawford. Now, right now, I'm about to give you my breakdown of what I think is going to happen. So they just had the press conference, and you've seen what happened, man. Initially, I'm going to point it out. They had their initial I think they have like a couple of press conferences. So they had a face-to-face in the previous one, and Showbiz, shout out to Showbiz, he pointed out that Terence Crawford looked a little intimidated because he ain't never seen a look like he saw on Terence Crawford's face ever before. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he got ripped apart in the comments and all that because, you know, the fanboys and all the bud buddies, you know, they got a little moist about it. You know what I'm saying? But he's just calling what he sees, and that's what we do here with these channels. Like, the real ones is gonna call out what they see, whether that's you're a fan of the fighter or not. We calling out what we see, unbiased. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to point that out. I pointed that out because in this face-off, we saw a different Crawford. This is the type of Crawford I expect come fight night. He tried to walk down Canelo in their face-off. Canelo gave him a little shove. You know, and we got all broken up after that. But that's what I expect from Crawford. I don't see him trying to fight off. I could see Canelo forcing him to fight off his back foot, but I don't see Crawford looking to do that. I don't see Crawford shying away from the action. And this press conference, Canelo called it like it is. Crawford's never faced anybody like him. Canelo has faced fighters just as great. I pointed that out in my previous Canelo Crawford video when I was giving y'all like what to look at and how to look at the fight. Because you can't just look at this fight up and down and think, like Devin Haney likes to say, skills pay the bills. You can't say that on this fight, I don't think, personally. I think this fight is going to be more than just skills. Like, for example, Terence Crawford is going to have to be able to take a punch from someone who weighs light heavyweight weight, or maybe even cruiserweight weight on fight night. And so that's a huge advantage in favor of Canelo Alvarez. And like we mentioned before, there is no rehydration clause here in this fight. So let's really look at this fight, because I'm about to make my pick with this video. But before we get to my pick, I want to tell you how I came to that conclusion. So there's a couple of fights. Now, there is no comparable fight to compare what Terence Crawford is attempting to do versus Canelo Alvarez. Moving up 3 weight classes in 2 fights, fighting once at 54, didn't look good at all, but he got the victory. Then he jumps up straight to 68 to fight the top dog. Now, I truly 100% believe there's fighters at 60 and 68, mainly at 68. Most of them, I think, smoke Terence Crawford. Get salty if you want. I don't care. I'm telling you what I see. And there's a reason why Crawford is not going to take a tune-up fight at 68, because he could absolutely be beaten. Let's be 100%. As great as he is, there's weight classes for a reason. So, and I want to point all this out because I want y'all to think I'm hating, because I'm not. I'm simply pointing out the obstacles, the mountains that Terrence Crawford is going to have to climb in order to beat Canelo Alvarez. There is no way Canelo takes a hit from Crawford and never felt that type of power before. Absolutely no way. He's fought Triple G. He's fought Bivol. He's fought Kovalev. He's fought Caleb Plants. I know Caleb Plant's not known for power, but I'm just saying, like, there's not going to be a shot that Canelo can take from Crawford that he's going to be like, oh, I ain't never felt that before. On the other hand, 100% chance Crawford gets hit with something that he ain't never felt before from Canelo Alvarez. I promise you that. Canelo's been fighting bigger guys his whole career, and he's not that big of a fighter. Personally, I think Canelo is a natural 160. I think his best weight, where he would absolutely dominate, is at 160. But yet he's fought at 75. He held a belt up there at 75 against a Kovalev who was compromised. Let's not get it fucked up. But he did go up there and fight Kovalev at 75. Not only that, 68. He's campaigning at 68, and he's actually on the smaller end of the stick for the 168-pound fighter, which is why Crawford went straight to Canelo, and he thinks he can beat him. It's not what this is they are comparable in size. I will give you that. I'm not going to say that they're the same size, but they're close enough in size where Crawford believes he can beat Canelo because he's just as skilled. Boxing IQ is on par. I'd edge Canelo in the boxing IQ department, but I'm not mad if you say Crawford's more skilled. So those are things we have to look at. And now, like I said, there's no comparable fight for Terrence Crawford and Canelo, but there is two fights in particular that I think you could see on Fight Night. Now, the first one I'm gonna say, because I think I'm gonna mention this one first. Bivol versus Canelo. I believe Terrence Crawford needs to study that fight, because if he's able to keep Canelo off balance, here's what I mean. When Canelo fought Bivol, and Bivol was throwing his jab, Canelo likes to step to his opponent, walk him down or whatever. What Bivol was doing is he was throwing a jab at Canelo when he took his weight off his back foot, taking a step forward, because now he's leaning into Bivol. So Bivol was able to hit him with a jab and throw a couple of punches and you know what I'm saying, get to Canelo, because he was in between steps, leaning forward towards Bivol. If you don't know what I mean, just go check out that fight and just watch when Canelo, I think third, fourth round is when he starts to do it more. But when Canelo takes a step forward, Bivol throws a jab, and then he throws like 2 or 3 punches in a row, and Canelo has to eat him because he is already moving forward. So now he has to move back and get back on his back foot, try to get out of range, get out of distance, not so he won't get hit. That, to me, timing is one of the paths to victory for Terrence Crawford. Timing. The other fight I think that we need to watch is Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez. Now, Caleb Plant and Terrence Crawford are different fighters, but if you look at that fight, Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez, the first half was very, very competitive. If I'm not mistaken, it was very even, if not Plant potentially winning. But at the worst, he was like an even fight for Canelo. So the first half of the fight was up in the air, and Caleb Plant did some great work. But what I always expected in that fight is if Canelo didn't feel something that he had to worry about from Caleb Plant, eventually he was going to start to walk him down. And that's what he did in the middle round, 6, 7, 8, and eventually stopped Plant later in the championship rounds. Now, those two fights, I think we can see a mixture of those fights on Fight Night, September 13th, between Canelo and Crawford. I'm going to give you my prediction. No, we're going to start. All right, so round one, first, as soon as the bell rings, I see Canelo coming in with, what I want Canelo to come in with is a pressure approach. Because I want him to really force Crawford to have to throw something of note very, very early. Because we will know early, if Canelo is aggressive early, we will know early that if Canelo or if Crawford has power to hurt Canelo. But that's what I want from Canelo. I don't think it's going to happen because Canelo is pretty much a slow starter. And he's been that way for the majority of his career. You can win rounds early on him because he'll let you. What I think is going to happen, I think Crawford is going to be on the aggressive early. Because I think Crawford believes he is better than Canelo Alvarez. And rightfully so. He should absolutely believe that because he's one of the greatest fighters potentially of all time if he pulls this off. But my big concern for Terence Crawford, I think he's going to stay in the pocket right in front of Canelo. Because when have we ever seen Crawford shy away from the action or run away from the action? He's always right there in the pocket. He's there to be hit, and he's there to hit you and hurt you, which is what I think he's going to try to do with Canelo. I think if Terence Crawford is to win this fight, we are going to see one of the greatest displays of boxing abilities we have ever seen. From timing to power to shot placement to ring generalship, Crawford has to be A plus in every one of those categories in order to win this fight, in my opinion. And the big reason is the size difference. And I don't think a lot of you are realizing truly what Crawford is attempting to do. Terence Crawford, people his size, he's smoking them when it comes to standing in front, staying in the pocket, and throwing hands and shot placement. Crawford is smoking them. But Canelo Alvarez is one of the greatest Mexican fighters of all time, top 5, I think. And he's probably the greatest of this era. Now, back to the whole size thing. If you're going to tell me that they're the same size, I'm going to repeat this one more time. If you're going to tell me that they're the same size, then you're telling me that Terence Crawford is not as great as Canelo Alvarez because he's fighting in the low weight classes, 140, 147. And if Canelo were to wash Crawford, that 1,000% proves that Crawford is not as great as you guys think he is. I'm only saying that because there's a lot of you out there who think Crawford and Canelo are the same size. Listen to yourself. If you're saying they're the same size, you're actually hurting Crawford's resume. He does that enough by saying Spence isn't a Hall of Famer, and that's his best win on his resume. Now, like I said, the path to winning for for Crawford is timing and an amazing boxing display. So if he's able to use his jab to throw the timing on Canelo off, like Bivol did when he's stepping into him, he can throw a few 4 or 5, punches in a row before Canelo, because the hand speed might be Crawford's favorite. So he could throw 4 or 5 punches, get out the way, reset, stay in the pocket, work. That's a path to victory for Crawford to build up points and hopefully, and for his case and for his sake, frustrates Canelo Alvarez. But I truthfully do not think Crawford is going to hit Canelo with something where he's going to be worried. So with Crawford doing even with an amazing boxing display, he still might lose because of the size difference. And we've seen Crawford be hurt by smaller guys. Mean Machine dropped him. Who else hurt him? He's been hurt. He got hurt by even Jose Benavidez Jr. at 47 gave him problems. So Crawford can be hit. He can be hurt. He can be dropped. He's been dropped before. But with that being said, I don't see him going into Charlo mode, like survival and trying to make it all 12 rounds. I don't see that for Crawford. What I see is even if Crawford gets to the point where he realizes, damn, I can't do it, Now, I don't think he'll ever say he can't beat Canelo. Maybe if he gets to the point where he's like, Canelo's eating these shots and he's not being hurt, I see Crawford going for broke and trying with everything he has left to knock out Canelo. Which is why my prediction, I think, as we get to the middle rounds, if there's nothing of note, I'm going to say round 4 or 5, if there's nothing of note from Crawford that Canelo has felt, I think that Canelo is going to start to walk him down similar to how he did Caleb Plant. Go look at that fight. First half of the fight, Caleb Plant was doing good work, boxing skills and everything. But I always felt he didn't have the power to make Canelo respect him. So at some point, he was going to start to walk him down, which is what I think Canelo is going to do with Terence Crawford. I think he's eventually going to walk Terence Crawford down if Terence Crawford is not able to hurt him. And with that being said, if he has nothing of note coming back Canelo's way, Canelo's going to continue to stalk him until he gets to him. And like I said, I don't think Crawford is running. I don't think Crawford will go into survival mode. I think he's too proud. He's too much of a warrior. I think if he gets to that point, I think Crawford is going to go out on his shield, which is why I think Canelo Alvarez is going to knock out Terence Crawford. I don't say stop. I don't think Crawford's going to respond to the 10 count. I don't think the ref's going to stop it. I think he's going to put him out. And that is not a knock at Terence Crawford. That is not disrespecting him. That actually is a tribute and actually a salute to him, because I do not think he's running. I don't think Crawford will be satisfied surviving. I think Crawford would much rather get knocked out than survive and lose every round. Get beat by a wide margin, 9-3, 10-2. I think Terence Crawford would rather get knocked out. That is my prediction. I got Canelo Alvarez sleeping Terence Crawford. I don't think Crawford is responding to the count. I'm going to say round 9, he puts Crawford away. And like I said, that's not a knock to Terence Crawford. That is a commending him, because like I said, I don't think he's running. I think he's going to go out on his shield. Now, like I said, I do see a path to victory for Terence Crawford. My pick is Canelo by knockout round 9, like I just said. And all those reasons why is what I'm thinking. Now, the path for Crawford, like I said, best boxing display of his career, ring generalship, boxing IQ, shot placement. If he's able to catch Canelo with something he doesn't see coming, I think he can hurt Canelo. That's the only way he's hurting Canelo out. If Canelo sees every shot, he's eating them. He ain't getting hurt. Canelo's chin is too strong. But if he gets caught with something that he doesn't see, he might go down or hurt. At the very least, he can be hurt. Now, with all that being said, mind you, like I said, I'm picking Canelo by knockout round 9. But the path to victory is there for Terence Crawford. And it starts with his jab. If he's able to, like I said, jab Canelo, keep him off balance, throw 3, 4, 5 punch combinations, get out the way. Control the ring, control where you're at. Stay out the corners. Don't let Canelo walk you down into them corners, because if you do, he's going to hurt you. Everybody at 68, Canelo has put down. So even if he doesn't knock out Crawford, Crawford's going down once. I promise you. So that's why you got to stay out the corner. If Crawford can stay out the corners, stay somewhat in the middle of the ring, control the distance, use his jab to keep Canelo off balance, because that is a lot of people can do that with a solid jab, and Crawford has a very good jab. Crawford's a boxer, puncher, and he's coming at you. He's not running. So that's the path to victory for Crawford. I don't know if he can knock out Canelo, but if he does this path to victory with enough power to keep Canelo honest, he can win. And if he's able to win this fight, we are going to be talking about Terence Crawford as one of the GOATs, Mount Rushmore of boxing. When you name Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinsons, you're going to have to say Terence Crawford. If Canelo goes and makes quick work or easy work of Crawford, it says a lot about Canelo. To me, Canelo Alvarez is the best of the era. You have to give it to him. His resume is the best, hands down. But another reason why I think the path to victory is there for Terence Crawford, he's the older fighter, smaller fighter. Normally, the smaller fighter moving up against a great big guy, smaller fighter gets beat almost every single time. But this is not a hate on Terence Crawford. He said it in his press conference. He didn't get those other fights that he was looking for when he was looking for them because God was preparing him for this Canelo fight. With that being said, Canelo has been through some wars. He fought Triple G 3 times. Bivol. He's got Mosley on his resume, even though it was an old Mosley. Who else? He got everybody on it, like almost everybody on the resume of note, every name that you could fight, except for David Benavidez. But anyway, that's a different story for a different video. But anyways, and if you look at Crawford's resume, he hasn't had those wars. He hasn't. If you take away the undisputed accolades, the two of them, his resume is pretty basic by the names he's beaten. The two biggest names are Sean Porter and Errol Spence. The biggest win of his career is Errol Spence, and he downplays that win. So he's never been in a real war with anybody, and Canelo's been in multiple. Boxing, you can get old overnight. If those fights finally start to take a toll on Canelo, that's the best chance for Crawford to win. Because if Canelo still has a lot left in the tank, he's knocking out Terence Crawford. You can get emotional about that all you want. That's what I see, and that's what I'm calling. So, in summary, I got Canelo Alvarez winning by knockout over Terence Crawford. He will not respond to the count. Round 9. But like I said, the path for victory for Crawford is there. So, let me know what you think, man. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why Crawford's going to beat the out of Canelo Alvarez. Tell me why I'm right. Why you think Canelo's going to win. Remember, he's got the weight advantage, no rehydration clause. Crawford's fought highest weight at 154. Highest weight Canelo's fought at 75. Canelo's been through wars. Crawford hasn't. So that's an advantage on Crawford's side. What's going to happen September 13th? I don't know, but one thing's for sure, I'm watching, and I'm going to do another video or two talking about this fight as we move closer. I just want to put my prediction out there now, so it's out there. And when that fight comes, you come back to this video, and let's see how right or how wrong I am. So until next time, this has been Reason. Turn up the AC Hot Takes. Canelo versus Crawford. They had their press conferences. Promotion is in full effect. Let's go. Let's talk about it. Tell me who you think's winning. Tell me who you want to win. Is it the same guy? Are you a fan of one? You don't like the other? What's up? Talk to me. This is Reason. Turn up the AC Hot Takes. Till next time, we're out.